Hello there! Welcome to episode 37 of Life of a Musician. I have a lot to get through this episode as I have missed a week of recording, and then I went away for a weekend on holiday, but then I was straight back into gigging the following day of arriving back home. We left off last episode on the 12th of July, so in this episode we're going to be talking about my gigs from the 15th of July all the way until the 31st, the end of July. So let's get straight into it. Firstly, even though the World Cup is miles in the past now, it is long gone. The first gig we're going to talk about only happened because the World Cup was on. Once again, I'm talking about a pre-match build-up gig, this time at Bar 3 in Hindley.
Well, this is where I'm parked. Just walk on this path here, past that bins. It's a Bar 3. Nice and easy, just cable bag and the cajon bag.
This is the first time, and unfortunately the last time, me and John, the duo, are going to be playing at this venue. This is because they are closing down next Saturday, actually. Of me recording this video being Monday, it's on Saturday they're closing. It is a great shame. I believe the landlady actually wanted us to play close to the closing date as like a goodbye gig, if my memory serves me correctly. But unfortunately, we had a gig already booked, so we couldn't really move anything around. But luckily, as the football was on, we did manage to play in the duo, as I said, for the pre-match build-up. Also, being the amazing landlady she is, she even changed the TV screen to have our logo on it. Love the detail. Come on, other venues, keep up! I'm just playing, but it would be good. But anyway, this was a nice gig, and I'm glad we got to play here as the duo before it shut down. Moving on to the following Friday. Before the gig, I had to change my strings as,
Oh fella, he's missing a string.
After my strings have been swapped, I headed off to the Post House. As mentioned in my other videos, I have played this venue numerous times over the years. They have their own sound system, they're always busy, so it's always an easy gig to set up, pack down, and you also have an audience to actually sing to. So I always look forward to seeing this venue on my calendar, and I'm still looking forward to the Sunday gig that I have there, which is actually at the end of next month. I'm looking forward to that as it's a different time, different day. We'll see what the crowd has to offer, see if I need to take a different approach. But there's nothing really too much to talk about this gig, although I did record this little clip afterwards.
Just finished, and this is where I park up, and that's the venue. So that's where I park down. Apparently, Richard Ashcroft used to live up there, believe it or not. If you don't know who he is, future Antony, explain.
So yeah, basically, I will explain. Apparently, according to my father, Richard Ashcroft used to live in them top apartment. I don't know what you call them. The living space above the shop. I believe he used to live there. And if you don't know who Richard Ashcroft is, he's the singer of The Verve. Or was the singer, now he's solo. Go look him up. But yeah, apparently he used to live up there. Which is funny, because if you think about it, I've played in the Post House, and I have done the Verve songs before. I don't know what age he used to live in that house. Probably when he was a kid. But, do you ever think he thought the day would come where he would be a musician, writing songs, the songs get popular enough for other people to cover, and then somebody covers them in his hometown, next door to where he used to live? How weird's that? But anyway, enough of this Richard Ashcroft talk. Moving on to Saturday, a big day lined up for this one. One private gig, solo, followed by a back-to-back 2 gigs as the duo, going on until 2:30 AM. But first, here's a clip from past Antony.
Guys, just thought I'd do a little video. So I'm doing a garden party, as I've probably explained in the video already. I've just turned up at the venue, and I don't get nervous that often, but I am bricking it. Oh dear.
Don't worry, Antony, it gets all better, is what I would have told myself if I knew I would actually really enjoy this gig. Now, I don't have any pictures of the venue as it is somebody's back garden. It's a bit rude to just go around going, "Yep, this is where I'm playing today." I do have a picture here, as you can see, which I've got as a screenshot from somebody's story on the day. But to try and explain the layout of this gig, I will bring what I'm going to now call Tony Doodles into the video. First, let's start with the outline. So I walked down the side path, which led to the patio area you saw in the picture before, which is where I played. In front of me was some benches and chairs, And then behind these chairs, there was indeed a garage or a shed, which had been turned into a bar. This was one of the main talking points of the evening, as I believe it was only recently constructed / finished, and the guy whose birthday it was actually called John. There's a lot of Johns about, but John had a little speech towards the end of the evening, and he was saying how thankful he was for everyone who took part in helping him create the outside bar, as well as for me singing, but that's not important. I actually never went into the bar. However, I did know they had a pizza oven, and they was also making plenty of drinks to go around through the night. Now, obviously on this drawing, I have quite definitely butchered the angles. I could actually see more than what this picture implies, if you could even call it a picture. No one said Tony Doodles was a good piece of art. But I could actually see all the way from where I was playing to the corner, and everyone who wasn't inside, I was seeing, singing and dancing. Now resuming to normal Antony. As I said before, I was very nervous showing up to this gig, which I don't really get nervous about gigs too often. However, once I was set up and ready to sing, and the fact that the husband and wife, people who organised it, I believe it was mainly the wife, as it was a birthday party for the husband, they both made me feel very comfortable, made sure I had everything that I needed. And the reason I got this gig, to give you some backstory, is because they've seen me play at an open mic a few times. An open mic that I will mention in this video, actually. And then they've also been to a couple of my gigs. Hence the reason they wanted to book me for this, which I'm very thankful for. Thank you for having me be part of such a special day. But yes, they did make me feel very comfortable when I was there, so all the nerves just went away. And I even ended this gig on a very high note. As I mentioned, they had a pizza oven, and they knew that I had to shoot off. Oh my days. And they knew that I had to shoot off because the reason for my start time being 5 till 7 was so I could make it to the next gigs. And so they made me a pizza for when I was leaving, and then the daughter was like, "Do you want a drink with that before you go?" Whilst sipping a Red Bull. Ding ding ding. "Can I have a Red Bull as well, please?" So I actually got a free pizza, free Red Bull, as I was leaving. So they was very good at catering for me, as well as having a good atmosphere. As I say again, nerves, who needs them? So moving on into Saturday night, I actually had a little bit more time than I thought, so I did manage to get home, drop off the gear that I didn't need for the next 2 gigs, as well as eat my pizza and drink my Red Bull. If you're not aware of what gigs I'm about to mention, it is the Rottenstall and Bury back-to-back gigs that me and John usually do. This is where we go from Rottenstall, starting there at 9:30, playing till 11:30. Then we drive from Rottenstall to Bury, or Bury, we still don't know what it's called, and then play from 12:30 until 2:30 in the morning. Now, I explained once again with what is now known as Tiny Doodles, which is now known as Tony Doodles. Tiny Doodles. That's actually better. I explained in a previous video how we use our mixer, but with their sound system, and I actually got a clip of it this time.
Well, hopefully you can hear me in this video. So, in a previous video I explained how I do the setup. Basically, here's the mixing desk, power's under there. All our instruments are plugged into here, and our monitor's this cable. This goes to our monitor, also powered by here. But then this mixing desk, green cable, goes into that, which then sends a signal all the way over to there. Oh look. And then Kyle can just equalize channel 1 over there, and we have full control of our sound and our monitor.
And I also managed to capture a little clip at the end showing you how busy the place was this particular night. As you can see, it's fairly busy. It has been busier before, and I know that definitely the busiest day of the year for them is Christmas Eve. And guess what? Me and John are playing there this Christmas Eve. So if you don't know what to do Christmas Eve, come to Rottenstall Blind Tiger. You'll see me and John, and it's going to be an amazing night of music, dancing, drinks, and probably a lot of spillages, broken objects. Hopefully no one gets hurt. Merry Christmas. But this gig was pretty straightforward. Once we finish, pack down, get the gear into the car, drive to Bury, and then set back up, play the gig, pack back down, leave. Pretty straightforward. On the day, it's a lot more tiring than I'm making it sound. But I do not want to give myself any PTSD, so let's move on. So now we're actually shifting forward all the way to the 28th. So the last gigs I just mentioned was on the 18th of July. So 10 days later, after the holiday, it was only a weekend holiday, but it's 10 days later that I have my next gig, which happened to fall on a Tuesday. This venue being Cellar 5 in Tilsley. If you don't know, this is one of my usual weekday gigs. I'd say I play there about once a month. This is in fact one of the venues that the husband and wife seen me. But this gig was good, nice chilled, kind of play whatever songs I want. Got a few requests, of course. And actually there was quite a few groups of people, even if there was just groups of two, but quite a few groups who came to see me specifically, which was very nice. But there's nothing really much to say directly about this gig, but there's a few things connected to it, which I will now talk about through the next few minutes. The next part being, the next gig was in fact an open mic that I was hosting this month. Usually it's my friend Colin, but as he was away this week, he asked me to cover for him, which I did. This is the open mic that takes place at the Roots and Chalice, also in Tyldesley. Now, one of the connections from the last venue was there was a person who was in there called Barry. I've actually met him at the open mic at Roots and Chalice, but he came in on Tuesday watching me, and on Tuesday I said, are you coming down to Roots and Chalice on Thursday, because it's the open mic and I'm actually hosting it this month? He was like, oh really? Yeah, I'll be there. He did indeed show up. Now this open mic is actually quite quiet usually, or at least on the quieter side. You do tend to get people coming in later on. On this particular day, however, when I showed up, there was already a few tables in celebrating a birthday, so it was busy before the night even started. I did manage to get a few of these drunken folk up singing, which was quite amusing, and actually some of them were really good singers as well. Well done you. Barry also played some songs, which is great. Thank you, Barry. And I actually sang quite a long time. This open mic went from 8:30 till 11:30, so it was a good 4 hours. That's not 4 hours. So it's a good 3-hour gig, shortened obviously from other people singing, which I was playing the guitar to, and then Barry doing his part. So I reckon I did about 2 hours worth, if not more, of actual me, which is quite tiring. But it was indeed a fun gig. I've not actually got any clips of other people playing. I did have a friend there who recorded me playing a few songs, so I'll just quickly show you them now.
Oh, you can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it stronger, baby. You're simply the best, better than all the rest. Shall I stay? Would it be sin if I on my mind? Already gave the time and place, so don't be shy. Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give. I want it. I kinda like you when you call me wonderful. Whenever the time to talk it is, come on then. I gotta know you're meant to be the man I need. Be the man I need, baby. Be the man.
So the final gig in this episode is actually a new venue for me. This is at the Ridgeway in Blackrod. Now the way I got this gig is quite interesting. This is from a person who I've met, as I mentioned, at Cellar 5. Told you there'd be some connections. So they've seen me play at Cellar 5 a few times, and then they've also been to some other gigs of mine. I actually went to one of the acoustic showcase kind of things. I forgot the actual name of the night, I'm sorry. But that's at the Bobbin in Lee. Definitely go check that out on Tuesday nights. I believe it's alternating Tuesday nights. You just have to look it up. But anyway, this person also called John. Why is there so many Johns? I swear I'm not just giving them anonymous names. I mean, yeah, I am. But anyway, John left a comment on a Facebook post of the venue. The venue's post was saying, any musicians wanting gigs, basically, comment down below, message us, whatever. So John tagged me in that. I then messaged the venue, got 3 gigs from it, and here we are. I did take a little clip of when I arrived at the venue, so here's that. New venue. There's a beer garden here, and I'm parked here. Little bed boo. I have indeed washed my car since. As you see though, there is plenty of car spaces available. Now when I went inside the venue, I actually had the option of 2 places to play. Now I only have this picture of my setup, so I think it is time for Tony Doodles again. Or Tiny Doodles. I like Tiny Doodles. That's good. It's funny. So as you see from this picture, the options that I was given was either play where I've marked me, which is where I did play, or where I've marked table. Now obviously if you play at table, you've got a better angle of this side room, but you are completely shut off from the room behind you. Now that side room here Even though I've wrote a wall around it, it is completely windowed. You can see all the way around. I don't know if that is proper English, but that's what you're given. And there was windows in that other spot as well, but it's a bit harder to see due to the pillars and that. As recommended by some of the bar staff, the last few people who have played have decided to play where I have marked me, which is where I've took that picture of my setup from, and that is what I ended up doing. As I say, this is a new venue, and I have got 2 more gigs booked in with them for this year. Hopefully we'll be back next year as well. They did apologise for it being slightly quiet, but as it's a Friday gig, as I now know, Friday gigs are usually quiet depending where you are. And when I mean that, I mean there's only a few venues that actually pull off a Friday gig well. Not because of anything they're doing right or wrong, it's just people don't go out. But even though this place wasn't the busiest, there were still people in there, and a few people just sitting down listening on their own, enjoying the vibes. Some other people getting up dancing and singing, enjoying the drunken vibes. And I did have a great time performing for all these people at this new venue, so thank you for having me, and I look forward to being back. Now, even though I have had gigs after what I've just spoken about, up until this point of me making the video, I am going to leave them for the next video, and then once that video is released, we'll all be caught back up with my gigs, so then I will be talking about the previous weekend in the video that you're watching. Now, I do want to quickly mention I did go to the Songwriters Club this previous month. However, I didn't play. I was just enjoying the vibes. I really couldn't be bothered singing my own songs because I wasn't feeling them at the moment in time. But anyway, the Songwriters Club did have quite a few musicians again, and I do have some clips from previous months where I did play, which I will slowly be putting back into the videos at the end of them like I did a few times ago. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Thank you for being patient, even though I've missed a week of uploading. Obviously, I was aware. I do keep getting new information that more people are watching these videos, even though, as you can see from the viewer count, it is very small. It's a quality crowd, not a quantity crowd. That's what I keep telling myself. I'm joking. I do actually really appreciate you watching, so thank you for taking time to watch this video. Make sure to like it if you did enjoy it, and if you're new, subscribe. I'm thinking of doing some more reels and TikTok videos, summarising a month's worth of these type of videos into one short clip, just so I can try and bring more people from my other social media to this. And I'm also going to start uploading more Instagram stuff and TikTok stuff, just to make myself a bit more established on all social media. But anyway, thank you for watching, as I say. Remember to keep music in your life, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.